Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into Brian Lee O'Malley's Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life.
Yeah, the first book in that really iconic series.
Exactly. It's got that amazing blend, doesn't it? Indie rock, video games, and, well, all that awkward coming-of-age romance stuff.
And the core idea is Scott Pilgrim, right? He's this 23-year-old Canadian guy, kind of drifting, plays in a band.
Right, and he falls for Ramona Flowers.
But to actually, date her, he has to fight her 7 evil exes,
Ah,
which is quite the premise.
it really is. So for this deep dive, we're working off a review of the graphic novel itself.
Yeah.
And our mission for you listening is to kind of dig into what makes this first volume tick, why it's so well loved.
Okay, sounds good. Where should we start? The art, maybe?
Yeah, let's do that. The review really points out the manga influence. What does that actually look like?
Well, you see it in the energy, I think. O'Malley uses these really dynamic layouts, lots of speed lines, for the action. And the character expressions are super exaggerated sometimes, which really sells the humor, but also the emotional beats. It feels very kinetic.
Kinetic, that's a good word.
Yeah.
It really moves, even though it's just static panels, right?
Exactly.
And it's all black and white. Did the review mention why that works? Seems like a choice.
It did, yeah. It gives it this sort of indie comic feel, very grounded in that aesthetic, but also it focuses you.
Focuses. How so?
Well, without color, your eye goes straight to the line work, the action, the expressions. There's less distraction.
Okay, I see that.
And it makes the contrast work really well. The big action stuff feels energetic, but then the quieter, more introspective moments, they land differently because of that starkness. Gives them a bit more weight.
Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about Scott himself,
Yeah.
the hero. He's a bit of a slacker, isn't he?
Huh, yeah, that's fair. But the review argues that's part of his charm,
Hmm.
He's flawed.
What happened?
Like, he's insecure, he makes dumb mistakes, especially with relationships. He's not always thinking things through. Pretty relatable, actually.
Yeah, maybe not the fighting evil exes part, but the rest.
Right. The core of it, despite the crazy video game fights, is about him trying to grow up, figure himself out, deal with messy feelings, stuff we all kind of go through.
He's not alone in this world. The review mentioned the supporting cast is important too.
Oh, absolutely. You've got Wallace Wells, his roommate. Hilariously sarcastic.
Wallace is great. Always got to come back.
Totally. And his bandmates, Kim Pine and Steven Stills, they add so much personality and different perspectives.
And Ramona herself, she's not just a prize, is she?
Not at all. She's really intriguing, kind of mysterious, has her own stuff going on. The whole ensemble just makes the world feel richer. It's not just the Scott Pilgrim show.
Right, right. Okay, moving on to one of the things everyone talks about.
Mm.
The pop culture stuff,
Mm-hmm.
especially the video games.
Yeah, that's huge.
The review says it's seamless. Right, not just tacked on.
Exactly. It's woven right into the story's DNA. Like, when Scott defeats an ex, they explode into coins.
Right.
Or you get little info boxes, like stats, or seeing life bars during fights. It's not just like a visual gag.
So it serves the story.
Yeah, I think so. It kind of visualizes Scott's perspective, maybe, or just adds this playful layer over everything. It makes the fights feel like boss battles. Literally, it's clever.
It really is. So putting this all together,
Hmm.
what's the big takeaway from the review? Why does Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life work so well?
Well, connecting all those threads, the review basically says it's super entertaining and really original.
Originality is key here, seems like.
Definitely. It pulls from indie comics, manga art styles, video game logic, and wraps it all up in this funny, relatable, coming-of-age story.
That combination feels pretty unique.
It is. And the review calls it a fun, fast read that just makes you want to immediately pick up the next volume. High praise, really.
So for you listening, if you haven't checked it out, it sounds like a pretty solid recommendation,
Yeah.
especially if you like things that mash genres together in cool ways.
Yeah, it's funny. It's got action. It's got heart. What's not to like?
True. It's got a lot going for it.
Which, makes you think. This combination of comics, music, games, it worked so well here.
Yeah.
So maybe a final thought for you to chew on. How does blending these different forms, these different ways of storytelling, actually create something completely fresh and really engaging? And maybe what other unexpected mixes are out there just waiting to be discovered?